saga of To Me, and you're welcome to another episode of To Me We Hat. Today we are going to be reacting to the popular ongoing situation in Lagos, and that's the Lagos unrest.
Samson from Ghana. Hello, everyone. Aja, Odu, Odu, Odu. It's on a Sabopo.
Yeah, it's been worrisome over the past 1 week. Robberies here and there. People are not safe. People are in lockdown. There is no food. There is no money, and then there is robbers at your neck with a gun. It's been so devastating, and I just hope everyone is safe out there. So we are going to look at some posts and comments on Twitter. As we all know, Twitter is a place for crazy people, crazy sets of people, and posts and comments, savages, sarcasm, and so on. So now we are going to start from there is this doctor. His name is Dr. Remy Adekoya. He said something about Lagos unrest, but in another form, and I kind of like his write up. I kind of like what he wrote. He said, "Only those who haven't robbed before and want to virtue signal how emphatic they are towards the poor say armed robbery is always down to hunger." Was once friend with a reformed armed robber and former gang leader. This is what he told me of his experience. He said here that it is when you want to show your sympathy and empathy towards the poor, you say robbery is always because people are hungry. But I'd say that even though you are hungry, the next thing to do is not to rob people. You're robbing people of their valuables, you're robbing people of their hard-earned money, and you're saying because you are down to hunger. No, that's not the way out. There are other things we could do. Yeah, we know there is lockdown, we know governments are not trying, we know they are not doing anything for us, but then robbing is not really cool. He continued, "First of all, this guy wasn't poor by any standards. Had several siblings in West who used to send him money regularly. He got into crime through the confraternity he joined while in SC University. He became defense minister of his country in charge of ammunition. It's all. I never knew confraternity to do have defense minister until today." He started robbing because he had access to weapons to do it. Boys at his disposal, and there was little danger of getting caught. Worst case scenario, police stop you on way back from operation and you settle them. Simple, they always took the bribe beside. Yes, our police is also part of the reason why we have armed robbery operations all the time, because they get okay. Now probably they've started catching those guys in Lagos, but then most times when you bribe policemen with a very huge amount of money and they let you go, so there are many ways you could just say I want to rob next time because you're not caught. He also told me this: "The first time I pointed my gun at somebody and they fell on their knees, I started begging for their life. I felt a rush of power like never before." Okay, I think this part is a very good one. Everyone can relate with. When there is this way we can exercise our power. There is this way we feel we are on top of the world. We tend to do things crazily. He said, in fact, one of his main challenges in that particular leadership role was to make sure his boys didn't kill someone just for the fun of it when they went on operations, because he could see the power rush in their eyes. That's it, power. It's a very deadly thing. The real sadists are never the ones who make the most noise. They are usually quiet, don't talk much, but you can see the bloodthirst in their eyes, as said. Let alone he had killed just for the fun of it. Of course, they were usually high too, so that didn't help. I was I was once involved in robbery operations. Was I involved? What I say? I was once a victim. You could know. I did not involve in anything. So I was once a victim, and yes, I actually can say those guys were on drugs because one of their kicks was enough to pull down the wall of Jericho. It's not exaggeration, but it's true. This guy later retired from crime and is now a regular citizen in Nigeria. Um, Retired from crime. That's actually a big one, but it's something we actually do. It's something we've done before. So those of us that used to steal from the pots, we actually retired because it got to a point like we don't just feel like stealing again. Okay, no, we did not steal. We took from the pots. Yes, I did not steal from the pot. I took from the pot. So to us that actually no, to you all that used to steal from the pot, we have actually retired, except for some set of people that they are meat lovers. There are some others here that we. Nigeria people have hidden behind it's our government for the longest. We are generally greedy, selfish, and corrupt, and we lack empathy towards one another. The government is us, and we need to do better. Okay, yeah. It is greediness, it is selfishness, it is because we ourselves we corrupt. That is why you would look at your neighbor and feel the next thing you should do because you are hungry, as they say, and go into their houses to rob them of their valuables. God, this time of lockdown, if you're going to be stealing people's jewelries, where are you going to exchange it for money? I mean, everyone is at home. I don't know. Because you rob people of their valuables now is like you're waiting for the lockdown to be over, then you go and sell them. If you were really hungry, I assume what we all should do is probably go into a rich man's house and, pay them a visit 1, 2, or 3 days and they kind of feed us every day. But the question is, how many of our rich men in Nigeria would actually accommodate us? They actually cut so many. They cut so many, and I think this is from Agege Unrest. And these guys are much, they said they are 1 billion gangs or something like that. And I kind of say it here that these guys, maybe they are not young, but they really look young. I mean, what I'm saying here, these guys should be between the ages of 18 and 22, really, because they really are not old. So now the question is, what are their parents? How did they get involved in crimes? And what's really led them? Because this kind of children should have parents at home, yeah. And our parents, what they do is provide for our needs, yeah. So how were they able to leave their parents abroad? You know, at least some robberies were during the night on the night, and how were they able to leave home? My dad used to say something that when a crime is committed by a young child, not really young, but at least by a young child that he knows parents should still be feeding them or fending for them. After the arrest of those guys, the next thing they will do is to arrest the parents because even though we want to side some things in Nigeria, but parents too, they have roles in some things, some crimes that happens in the society. This person is saying, "This is my take on fighting this new Lagos robbers, especially with what is happening in Uganda right now. People have started to bring out their opinions on what we should do since the start of the cases. Policemen weren't coming to their hits, and the guy said to fight these guys off is with total cooperation. Residents should contribute and get kerosene in large numbers." Crates of empty mineral bottles, those that can shatter easily, as many as possible, and a couple of newspapers. Pour the kerosene in the bottles at least halfway, soak the newspaper in the kerosene, squeeze it and put it a bit inside the bottle, as many as possible, then light it up. Wait till they and with the coordinates timing, unleash air on those bastards. you know. So we are our own vigilante now, yeah.
Very busy environment here. You can see people. People have actually gathered right in front of my gates, and I am so proud of this man. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. So I'm really proud of these guys that have come out actually to protect us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's happening all over Lagos. It's happening in the states. Everybody is now protecting their lives. Vigilante everywhere. People don't sleep at night. People because of tires, burning, and so many other things. There is one year that says to think two of those guys actually grew up in my area, and my mama could recognize them. Those boys are not even up to 18. I said it the other time. Some, that's their age range, like 18, 22. But these ones are not up to 18, all living with their parents. Can you imagine? Yeah, I was thinking the people perpetrating this evil are the thugs. So who is to be blamed? The government that is not giving us enough, or the parents that are not teaching us enough, or the children that are not learning enough? Because this is going to be the end for today's episode. And please don't forget to subscribe to Entertainment Foresight on YouTube. Catch you guys next week. Anytime there is something else to react to. Bye.